Um, how many we got in here? 3? Did we
Yeah, I
want to
think
wait for
one more
more?
should be coming.
Okay.
Trying to go.
So what were you saying? Pardon me.
From what I remember from Snakewater when we played yesterday, we had a lot of trouble choosing or picking when, like approaching how to get out of last. And then there was just, I think maybe like team fights and stuff when pushing into second, like pushing into mid or pushing into different points.
The thing
I think it
about
was mainly that.
snakewater is that it's notoriously difficult to not, well, relative to other maps anyway. It's notoriously difficult to push from last to second, and also from second into middle. Like the team
Yeah.
that has the mid or enemy second, they typically almost have always got the advantage due to the nature of the map. Like they always have the first move, essentially.
Yeah. I think it's just like team coordination issues maybe as well that we could spot and maybe fix up.
Yeah,
Like stuff
I find
between
it's in lower teams the thing they suffer from the most is not like the DM or even like kind of basic strats, although obviously they can be lacking. It's mainly people are not really on the same page of what's going on. Just coordination essentially and communication.
Yeah, I think our demo and our pocket soldier might have the biggest disconnect between all our players. A lot of, like a few of the times they're on very different pages.
Hmm.
Five, four, three, two.
Fucking Orphis playing MG and streaming.
Is that your teammate?
Yeah, the guy who Dog Roll thinks is Sen. That
Is he
guy.
not Sen?
I'm 99% sure he's not Sen. He's just a MG rat like
He's a good
Sen.
spy player. I thought
I
he
think
was
that's
an alt account of some. If I'm honest, I thought I wouldn't say it on stream actually, but I thought he was very competent on spy for MG.
yeah, he's a very grindy player.
So are we waiting on him then?
I reckon we
Oh,
can probably just
yeah.
start.
Okay. And I crash. Fantastic. So what roles do you guys play on your team?
I'm
Custom,
playing medic.
medic, then deceptive,
Just
I'm on demo.
demo, and
I'm on Roma.
okay. It would really be nice if we could get like the pocket scout and the pocket soldier, like the two core classes. Is that would that be feasible? Do you think?
Pockets are just playing MGE.
I'm trying to fucking get him at the moment.
And our pocket scout's just straight up offline.
Where's Tissue Man?
I don't know, dude. He's
Was it just the three of us? What the fuck?
Hey man, I messaged Tissue Man and he said he would be available.
man's has
He'll be here.
Well, we can
And-
fuck around a bit if you want. But for a team review session, like it's pretty important, I think, to have like the pocket scout and the pocket soldier due to that they do a lot of initiation sort of things for their team, which is like
Yeah.
really important, especially for pushers.
we keep getting fucked by like a sniper. Like
A
we
defensive
like
sniper,
pardon?
defensive snipers, or
Yeah. Like they just I don't know if we fear them or something, but like the enemy sniper just creates so much fucking room and like I don't know.
is that typically when they have your mid or they have mid or your second, and they're like going into last?
Yeah,
Either
like
yeah.
plus.
Either we're pushing into last or we're defending last.
Yeah,
Just causes a lot
Snake
of
is a
problems.
powerful sniper map. Do you guys have a sniper?
Yeah, we have players that can snipe, but we haven't really run sniper that often, to be honest.
Hmm. I would say on Snake a lot of the time, due to how stalematy it can get and how like the disadvantages we talked about when you're defending your second and your last, oftentimes you're gonna find I think that it often is I think worth running a sniper versus like the offending sniper because sometimes it's just not feasible doing other things.
I
But
think we have more trouble with the sniper on Sunshine, but we're not checking
Sunshine.
out Sunshine. Yeah, Sunshine it was like way more prevalent.
Okay,
What does prevalent mean?
like relevant, occurring more often.
Thanks.
The only person we're missing now is our pocket scout, and he's like doesn't look like he's coming online anytime soon. I don't think.
Is the soldier in here?
Yes.
5,
XXXX1.
3,
Okay, well, we've got like 5 players in here now. Who's the other dude?
Yeah, our flank scout's here too.
Okay, well,
Ren is our flank scout.
that's good. So I reckon I'll just stream in Discord, boys, okay? And you tell me if you see this shit.
That's good.
Yeah, we can see it.
So just let's do a quick recap. What do you guys think you want to improve on and like the issues are?
Pushing out of last, probably.
Yeah?
Dealing with a sniper.
General like team coordinations as well. Probably between our combo mostly, but obvious like whatever else you can spot between like our combo and our flank.
No issues on mids? Or less like general? Like fighting stages?
I
I
feel
think-
like where you go.
I feel like our mids are okay. It's just like nah, I won't say too much because I can't think of much either.
I feel like as a medic on mids, sometimes when like we win them, like everyone W's, and I feel like sometimes I'm like left alone as a med, and then like a stray soldier just bombs me. But it might be my fault. I don't know.
Our pocket scout's coming in a sec.
Shall we wait for him?
Yeah, he's just getting out of the shower or something.
Yeah, fucking Asia foot scouts, man.
Shut the fuck up.
Chill out, Alan.
I'm kidding.
Take
He
a
said it
chill
was in
pill,
a
man.
bath, man.
He's in a butt, dude. What a luxury lifestyle.
How recent is this game?
Yesterday.
Okay, so it's still fresh in you guys' minds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I reckon we might just do a cursory, like, watching of this demo, and then you guys can like talk about what you think's happening and stuff, and then maybe we could like jump into a server together afterwards, and then like I could help you just visualize some things you can do, like positioning and that sort of thing.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
Hmm.
There he is.
Is
Hey.
he in here?
Yep.
We got everyone now.
Fantastic. So just when you guys are ready, we can start.
Yeah, I think we're all ready. Should be ready.
Make rocket. Okay, I'm gonna start then.
2,
Start the demo because it's fucked. Fantastic. 1 sec. And we are red team. Pardon me. Probably gonna bird's eye most of this. So you got one soldier that contests that soaring. Nice frag. Let's quickly pause. Do you guys typically try and plan what you try and do on mids when you get like a sort of player ad? Or is it kind of just a bit of a shit fest?
I don't think we planned that early. Like usually our soldiers will call what we're doing, and then our demo and our other like I would usually call what I'm doing, and half the time I go behind, and then our
So
pocket soldier
I
just
don't really know
reacts.
you guys' voices. So are you the roamer?
Oh yeah, I'm the roamer.
Okay.
Like when I'm roaming, I'll probably like I start by calling what I'm gonna do, and then I tell just our soldier and demo to react off that. And if I get a pick or not, then like they play more reactionary rather than like whatever we have set
That's good.
beforehand.
Definitely the most important thing, guys, when it comes to this game is being like really communicative and like relaying really important, quick, concise information to your team that's relevant. So like when you get a pick like that, like I assume you want to like assume that your team's like very on board of that occurred like very rapidly, and then you can like and then you should have an idea about as a team about what to do from there. Like for instance, you got a pick just there, and then you want to retain that advantage, yeah? So you guys should probably be communicating that to each other. Would that occur? Like that sort of thing? Like someone calls that they get a pick and then you try and play around that advantage?
Like people who get early kills on mid, they'll say they get a pick, but I'm not really sure if anyone calls how to react to it after. That's the thing.
Well, that's the key thing about communicating picks is that, or communication in general, is that it's relaying a point that you guys are going to play around. Like, for instance, like saying a pick is good, but you actually got to, as a team, you want to be trying to use any sort of information that you get like that as a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, would that be something that I'm just trying to gauge how you guys kind of react to information? Like, if you were to get a pick like that, would that be like an incentive for you guys to do something? Like to play around it, like try and retain a player ad, that sort of thing? Or is it kind of just something that's said and not really considered, do you think?
To be honest, it's probably not considered at this point. I think we just, unless it's like 2 picks or something, or like something major, I don't think our team like really reacts off like a pick. Yeah.
Okay.
I think usually if it's like demo or med that we get really, really early, then we do like then we are a lot more aware and we're a lot more like focused on what to do after. But if it's like a soldier or like usually if it's like a soldier or a scout, it's not as
Okay.
important.
I was just that's alright. I was just trying to gauge how you guys like might react to like communicational things. So I wouldn't pause like that too often. So that's a good thing. To do. And Tissue, are you the pocket scout? Is this you? Are you the pocket? Okay.
Time has been added. Alert. The control
Feel free to like talk and like run through what you guys are trying to do in the meantime, if you want. We're just kind of having. It'd be good to get like an idea into your mindset, but to me it looks like you're just trying to take space before all the enemies come in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they want to trade here.
Yep. So you guys have a massive player ad here. Like at this stage, do you guys like have you know, I assume you guys are aware that you've got like a huge player ad and kind of a free entry into last. Is there a decisive call that's going on about what's happening? Like, is it a sack? Is it a push? Is it a fight? What is it?
I think we all called to like push and rush in, but we didn't really call where. From what
Okay.
I remember, it was more just like that we have big player ad, just go in.
So, in general, like we're just trying to determine like if a situation occurs, such as a player ad, such a positional ad, or like whatever situation you can imagine. Is it uncommon for you guys to just have a collective idea about what you're doing, like a call for what's going to happen? Or are you kind of like fucking a bit split up on what's going on? Is that fair to say?
I think the call was defied, but like watching this like part of the demo, I think like more players should have like been with the combo, because I was just healing our demo left, and I feel like I don't know, our players could have done more if they like came with our combo and got a buff.
Yeah, I'm not at the moment. I'm not too concerned with like whether or not you guys are doing the right things strategically, right? I'm trying to more establish if you guys are just like are aware about what you guys are trying to do as a team. Like,
Yeah, I think the call was definitely defied, because we noticed like a massive player ad. We should.
alright.
Our last control point is being captured.
I think it's just more commonplace for us to just make the call to go and fight rather than like going like also addressing how to fight as well. Like
Okay.
Instead of just like saying, "Oh, go fight," we don't say as often like, "Oh, can we have a scout something coming through here as well," and stuff like that. Like we
Alright.
still do it, but I don't think it's as often as we should.
So you guys have got a player ad. You should be trying to trap out the enemy so they can't come in for free. I would say it's a bit surprised. Oh, they've got. I would say it's a bit surprising that like you guys are kind of almost retreating with your combo over here. With just like a pretty much just the one player disad, because this is probably one of the easiest points in the game to be holding, especially when the enemy doesn't have Uber. Like having traps here, for instance, while you kind of defend behind this hut as the combo, is one of the easiest places to hold. Like your demo man can be. You can see my cursor, right, guys?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you can. I think like having traps here and here, and just holding grass is one of the easiest places to hold in the game. Like I think doing this very passive saw retreat is probably not worth it.
I think if we were holding here, it was probably called that it was disad then. That's the only reason why I could think that we were holding there.
Okay, I think if I'm honest, I think like you can do grass even if you have like sort of uber disad, if that's what you're referring to. It's still a good spot to have stickies down and still easily retreat to safety, but I think it's much easier to be relevant than saw being over here in saw where it's very hard to see sort of things. Yeah. So all I'm trying to say is this point is very, very, like you guys have, you've talked about how you've had a lot of issues pushing out of last year, and the reason for that often is because it's just, it's very difficult to push out demo, and other classes are fantastic at holding these doorways along with like scout and soldier presence or maybe cheese or under, that sort of thing. So I'd probably like be more aggressive trying to hold this area because it's so easy to do so. So this is probably just going to be a mid stalemate for a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
So you guys also probably know... Oh, they're just pushing in. Okay, it looks like they're going to go to trade, but we'll watch it then. Fuck it. We can talk about trades. When a trade goes on, like the enemy comes into your face... Oh, that sounded bad. What's going through you guys' mind? Like, do you have an objective about what you're trying to do? Who you're trading with, that sort of thing?
In general, I think our demo calls how's they going to trade, like if he's in it or not. And then like our soldiers just fuck off, and then we play post and try not to die. Like that's usually, and then usually at the end of the trade, we just call like set up for post, try not to die, and then call focus fires afterwards.
Yeah.
Not much on like, yeah.
I think that it's most of it, what you said, is pretty good. Like the soldiers not being in the Uber, for instance, is really good, and being ready for the post is really good. One thing I would suggest is ideally, like if the enemy is coming into you, fuck, if the enemy is coming into your team like this with an Uber, they're often like forcing preemptively. Yeah, it's easy to pop them, and naturally as a team, you guys want to be having a longer, better Uber than them. So you have a better post Uber, right? So you get a better chance of winning the post fight. So if possible, when the enemy team is trading aggressively into your territory like that, you don't want to allow them to be... You don't really want them to be getting a big multi off on you. Like, I think it was... I don't remember, but was it just the scout that popped into you here?
It was just
Yeah, it was just a scout.
Naturally, like, you can understand how that is going to be advantageous to them, yeah? Because he's going to be multiing you guys really hard. And I think they were playing off the soldier that you guys had down at the start, yeah? So if potentially, like I don't know how this fight will go, but potentially they coming into you with a player ad and they force you guys while you're defending and they get like this multi out of you. If you look at the Uber counter, they pop before you guys and yet they still have a higher percentage Uber. And it's probably gonna like, that's gonna get even more exacerbated as it goes on just because he's forcing multis. So you guys what you really want to be doing is like not allowing a single scout to be getting a big multi onto you. Like you guys either want to be single trading back into him or simply just kiting it and not even popping, because this dude, this rodent slayer, he might end up doing that and just like get like a massive Uber trade into you guys. So we'll see what happens. But I think you guys are already kind of like feeling it out already. Like, look at this dude. He just won this entire mid by himself from a single Uber. And that's either because, you guys were forced to multi too hard due to not being aware that this dude was going to rush into you, or yeah, I think you can kind of get the idea. Like, you don't really want to allow the enemy team to be getting a massive beneficial trade into you when you've got, you know, via multiing or whatever. I think you guys get the idea. So, if possible, I would probably want the demo. You should probably have your demo man more passive so that doesn't happen. If you know they're gonna trade into you or suspect it, or you just simply just fucking kite their Uber until his Uber runs out and he can't do anything and they have to leave. Because this is the sort of trade I love to do, right? As a pocket scout, I love to take the fucking 50-second Uber so I can just win a mid for free or something. Because it really is like an effective thing to do against teams that are out of position with Ubers. Because you can just like multi the shit out of them, yeah? And then they have to leave, because their post is going to be worse.
Time has been added.
Okay, so you guys have got a major pick here. So, it's a demo pick, which means like it should be easy to bust through, especially without feeding. Do you guys see the issue of what happened? Like, you're getting good picks, but you guys pretty much all went through a singular sort of area, yeah? Like, it was pretty much just this doorway, don't you think?
Yeah, we didn't clear everything. We
Yeah,
didn't go
like,
through.
Saw I don't think was cleared. I don't think Kitchen was cleared, obviously, because Liv is behind you. Try, and like, this is a big problem, not just because this guy could potentially kill a key player like your medic, yeah, but like, it's potentially possible that he went on the back cap, and he'd force all you guys to come back, and that might even ruin your mid push.
Alert. The control point is
Okay,
being
and Liv's being
captured.
indecisive, that's alright. Cool. Pretty good push. I just think you guys should probably be like checking other doorways and making sure you're not getting flanked, you know what I mean? Because you can see like Liv is like already interrupted your mid cap, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the importance of making sure that you guys are not just going all through one doorway. Not because it's not, you know, it's not necessarily a bad push in terms of getting in and getting frags and stuff, but it just really leaves you vulnerable to enemies going behind and doing sort of stuff. Because this has kind of like really destroyed your push into mid and second because of just that player. So you probably want someone on someone flanking. That's going to be either your flank players like the Roma or the flank scout, or it might be like your pocket or something. But the point being, you guys should try and have a better idea of who's going to be covering the flank routes when you're doing pushes. So, and they know that like your team is missing players and you've come back to cap middle, so they're gonna push into you here with a huge player advantage. And then mid drops.
Our control point
That's very good.
captured.
Yeah, I kind of messed up there. Like, I did not have scattergun shots reloaded, so I could not see where them there.
You're the pocket scout?
Yeah, Tishina.
Yeah, okay. As soon as the mid drops like that, if you guys you probably either want to do two things. You either just want to like retreat while staying alive, because you know as soon as the mid goes down, they're gonna go full ape mode on you. Yeah, they're gonna like try and tunnel you really hard, your team. Or you can just, I think another thing to do is just fucking trade back into them, like pop and just kill all of them. You can take that to last if you wanted, maybe. The key thing is like when the enemy mid dies, you don't really want to be like losing any sort of player, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's alright. I think you guys are going to have a player ad and an Uber ad, so it should be alright. But ideally, you don't really want to be losing players when mid dies or drops. Man, Liver's causing havoc, isn't he?
Yes.
Hope he doesn't see this. Okay. So, do you guys remember what was happening here?
I think the call was to wait for players.
Yep.
Push, because we had like such a huge ad.
Yep. Not a free position, that's really good, and you got a super late Uber. One thing you guys got like an extremely like late Uber, yeah, and on the point, which is really nice, but I think you guys kind of wasted its power a lot by kind of just keeping the Uber on the point. When you have a charge and you're that close to the enemy, what you want to be doing is killing key players like as much as possible. I think if you Where's our dude? Like, if you guys were to immediately jump from the point here of your scout and your soldier and just go crush their key players like the medic and the demo here, and then just like win the post fight, that would substantially increase the likelihood of you winning. You don't want to waste like a massive advantage like having Uber close to the enemy by just sitting around the point, yeah? You know what I mean? And I think you're going for some players now, but if you did it a lot earlier, you'd probably be stomping these guys by their spawn really fucking hard. So it's not really surprising that you guys lose here, because the Uber wasn't really effective in killing enough like critical players, and by the time it was over, it was kind of ending in this ditch area, which is, you know, it's probably the worst part, the worst place to have any sort of player, maybe except demo. So yeah, I think you guys probably just needed to utilize your Uber a bit more effectively. Don't be afraid to go fucking balls deep when you've got that sort of positional and Uber advantage.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
Good escape. So this is a situation we can talk about.
Time has been added.
When the enemy, you know the enemy team is Uber, yeah, and you guys are holding middle. Do you guys have a plan for that? Like that sort of thing?
It's usually like get in a position where we can spot where they're going early, and like one soldier stacks and everyone else lives.
So you solitary soldier sack to try and force them while everyone escapes, yeah?
Yeah, like we try to like spam to like help pressure, but like everyone else tries to live besides the second soldier.
Okay. Well, you're definitely going to have to do this now, because you've only got one soldier. Typically if you have two soldiers, you're trying to like force them with both. Like you have an idea of where the combo is, and then you're trying to blast them with like spam, like pipes and rockets and maybe pistols and stuff. But you guys are missing a player, so it might be hard. Let's see how they push and how you guys do it. Okay, well that's not too bad. They got forced and you got to keep it, so that's pretty good. I would say your soldiers, yeah, could probably be getting the key thing when you're trying to defend against an enemy Uber push and you don't have Uber. I think the most important thing by far is making sure your soldiers are super healthy, because they need, you know, soldiers, they need as much HP as they possibly can in order to do the sort of thing they want to do, like jump into enemies and all that sort of thing. So you guys should definitely try and like have your medic or yourself lurk near your medic, you know, so you can get buffs to ideally up to 300, so your jumps and stuff can be a lot more effective. Try and do that as much as possible, and that will like greatly increase the chance of you being able to either hold or sack the medic and stuff. Yeah, I know it sounds super trivial, guys, but it, like, people make these kind of key areas up all the time.
The control point is being contested.
Okay, that just looked like a soldier jumped in and died fast enough. Not much to talk about there. I think probably just your scouts needed to hit him and stuff. And if you guys have questions, please ask if I'm not being clear or something.
Yep.
So this should be
Time
a
has
very hard situation because you're all dead essentially.
Yeah, for sure it is.
alert. The final control point is being contested.
They actually could have done that way faster if you guys noticed. Like they could have capped immediately with like one player and then had everyone on last to cap it before you guys are up. So let's go to middle. Just as a general question, your flank scout usually plays up top left
Usually, yeah.
and pocket right, the scout.
Yeah, right, or like on hard or something, I'm pretty sure.
And you guys both try and play height usually, yeah? That's okay.
The control point is being captured.
Dawson's in, really hard. Something you guys
Yeah,
want
I
to...
made that mistake there. I went quite a bit too forward. I did not see that soldier blind
Yeah.
spot.
I think the biggest thing I learned as like a scout, or just as a team thing even, to be more successful on not losing your mid or key players on mid, is that at the start of mids, it's anyone can do it really, but like I think it's really important to call the positions of the soldiers, the enemy soldiers. Like if I see them, I call them like top left or top right, that sort of thing. And if you keep track of them as a team, or even just like as scouts, that's going to really minimize the chance of them being able to jump in and do this sort of shit. I think it's probably the most important thing, especially as a pocket scout, if your objective is to defend your medic, is try and keep track of the enemy soldiers. Again, I know it sounds trivial, right? But like, these little things really do make a difference. Because he kind of just got forgotten about that dude, you know what I mean?
The control point is being captured.
That dude should die. Nice. They're very aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think we expected them to refire after we got their demo. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they weren't respecting. I mean, I think it was a pretty good push for them because you guys went all in and you didn't have heals, but you clearly guys got caught off by them thinking they wouldn't push without a demo.
The control point is being captured.
Yeah, demo is flanking. That's okay. You're getting cracks. I'm not gonna complain. Do you guys focus fire much? Like who you're shooting? Is it like, you know, call it?
Jolson prioritizes on that a lot.
He'll like call who you're shooting. The
I'm not usually the one calling focus fire. I'm just shouting at everyone to like call who they're
Normally
shooting.
I do damage and I tell people to shoot the same person.
Yeah, it's
Like whoever I do damage to.
I'd say we focus fire call often, at least.
I'm from New Zealand, thank you. Do you guys, so who typically does the focus firing? Would it be the pocket scout?
I think Deceptive calls who
Normally
to focus fire.
Our
Yeah.
demo calls focus fires most of the time.
Sorry, what class is that?
Your demo.
Okay, yep, you can do that. But there is focus firing going on, yeah? Like someone's calling like the key targets so you guys can burst them down quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, but sometimes if I don't do damage, no one shoots the same person.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be, you know, calling who you're focusing off of damage. It just has to be like a call that who you guys are trying to shoot. You know what I mean? Like that. The idea the idea is like you guys are trying to shoot someone, not necessarily. You're not necessarily gonna be hitting them. The important thing is being on the same wavelength and communicating about your intentions to burst like enemy targets. Because when you do it, it'll really punish enemies that are kind of disrespecting you, and especially when they have like player disadvantages and the like. They won't be able to get away with that shit too often. So I don't know if you guys realized at the moment that this is like a even Ubers, but you got a player ad. We can talk about it. When you guys are trying to bust into enemy last, and it's even Ubers and even players, like let's assume as such. How do you guys like to sack? How do you guys like to open it up?
It's pretty like just we take whatever like lobby for example, and then just have our team spam, and then when the call when our team is spammed, we just send a soldier in. Usually me, like the roamer.
Just solitary soldier?
It's pretty often, yeah. It might be like some different maps where we do double soldier, but most of the time it's a single soldier.
I'm gonna recommend that you guys start practicing doing double soldier sacks here. I'll kind of explain why. Like, obviously, 2 soldiers is gonna increase the likelihood of, you know, actually being able to get the sack off, because, you know, double the firepower, double the targets to shoot, that sort of thing. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But the key thing about this map in particular is that it's very, very difficult for the enemy to push back into you and like do a counter sack. Like this is this point here, holding the enemy second, is one of the strongest defensive points of like any of the maps, even when you're missing players. Like it's very, very easy, even with player ads, to kind of hold it in for a long time and either defend against enemy counter sacks, so they're coming back into second, or simply like forcing them if they try and do a push against you. So that's the, and I say that Oh, so I'm getting messaged. And I say that because, like, you kind of want the enemy to... You kind of want to force their hand. If you only are sacking one player in, not only is that a really low risk-reward play, because it's very unlikely you're going to achieve a successful sack, but, like, a lot of the time the enemy is simply not going to want to push off or counter-sack off a single one of your players' loss, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of... It's kind of ironic, but there's actually an advantage to missing multiple players on your team, especially in this area, because say you lose 2 soldiers on the sack and you don't force the medic, that's still going to be really good because it's going to incentivize them to come in and try and do something and kind of put them in a vulnerable position, such as counter-sacking back into you guys or even trading. So you can actually play off a player disad, especially for this point of the map.
Say we fail our double soldier sack. Where should like the rest of us be holding? And ideally, if they come in, we would want to trade, not just like give up second right.
Exactly. Well, prior to, like, as you're starting up the stack, like initializing it, a big part of it is like your scouts and your demo kind of making space for your team, your soldiers, pardon me, to come in and get ready for their sack. Like, you're gonna, be spamming stickies, knocking traps around, shooting traps, that sort of thing. Your medic is buffing the shit out of your soldiers, and then from there, it's kind of like up to you guys where you want to go in. Essentially, like, you can go pretty much anywhere. You could be like skipping through top, like that area over there, like up here, or you could be going under or through roller or something. But it's not too... You guys will kind of figure that out, like, what side you want to be sacking through most of the time, because it's usually going to be the area with the least amount of resistance, you know what I mean? So it probably wouldn't be here in this case. It would probably be, like, maybe roller or under. But, like, the key thing is you want to be making space for your soldiers to get buffed and then get sacked, and then they can get in as easily as possible. And the moment that happens, your demo man is going to be trapping up the key positions. Like, he'll be trapping up this door here and this door, and then, like, because at this point you've probably lost your soldiers, yeah, they're probably dead, or they've either got the force or the drop on the medic. Regardless, like, you want to be fully trapped up by the time the enemy is trying to come back into you, either with their counter sack or their push. And the goal is to delay them as long as possible. So you're going to be on grass over here, yeah? You're going to have traps up, your scouts are probably going to be like on this fence, on this hut, that sort of thing. Maybe on like this, one of your scouts could be on the pipe. And the idea is like the enemy is delayed as long as possible, or you're picking them off as they're coming in with traps and scouts and stuff. And the longer you delay them, the more chance that's going to mean that your soldiers are going to respawn.
Should we deny point with Uber if they make it like that far?
Yes. If they do come in that far, you don't want to like let them get a lot of cap time and a lot of position. So ideally what you want to be trying to do is take a massive force trade into them, which means like for instance, it's probably going to be your scout, yeah, and his job would probably be to force onto the point and multi the shit out of them, like the sort of thing we talked about before on mid. Remember, like you want to when you trade into them, you want to be getting a really big multi on the enemy, because that will mean a better post Uber, and that will greatly increase the likelihood of you guys being able to win a post fight. But let's go on. Key takeaway though is do more double sacks into last, especially when they don't have a fucking gun and they have a sniper, because that means it's a lot easier to get in most of the time, yeah? And it also means like it's the enemy is more likely to push out. They'll try and push out, which you can play off. You guys are probably aware that this cunt likes to spy a lot.
Yeah, I realize now. He always goes spy.
Yeah, something to be something to be aware of. Do you guys run spies much?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm usually the roamer usually is the one that goes spy for our team.
Cool. That's good. Spies are a useful tool to use. People can kind of disregard them, but they can be really powerful. Anyway, you know, when you are doing a sack, you got to be hyper vigilant about your medic, yeah, because their goal is trying to use their player advantage to get like a key pick, like on your medic or whatever. So you're not only looking out for snipers and jumping soldiers and the like. You also have to look out for spies. And that's just a matter of turning around a lot and kind of listening, I suppose, or whatever. But I think you guys get the idea, right? You just fucking gotta watch out for spies. And definitely communicate it, because it looked like that spy got the stab, and and then this pocket scout wasn't turning around for a few seconds.
The control point is being contested.
Yeah, I was surprised how like is there for quite a bit.
Right. Oh, the pop, holy shit. These guys are very aggressive, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Good picks. So you guys should be trying to get in here without feeding. That should be the play. And looking out for players. Oh, pardon me. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's right, that's right.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
So when you guys are like pushing into a new area with a player advantage, you're kind of aware of what you're trying to do? Do you communicate it?
Yeah, I think usually the first person that enters like mid will call like if there's people or not, and if there is, then we react off that. But if there isn't, then we just say like we take mid for free. Like more, yeah, it's situational. The call.
The key thing I think is like when the enemy are more desperate, like, and they want to try and do something, especially when you have a massive Uberad like you do now. The key thing is to be really vigilant about them doing cheese shit, where they're kind of trying to like desperately suicide into you or whatever, or get a pick. So like when you come through, I think it's really important that like your pocket scout, your scouts and your soldier, for instance, are coming through and checking for threats, essentially, like checking for stickies, checking for snipers, spies, hiding players, that sort of thing. You really don't want to like throw a massive lead by losing your medic, when you have like a huge advantage like you guys do now. So when you are moving into new like areas and territories and all that sort of shit, be hyper vigilant about looking for and commenting for potential threats, so you don't have to risk losing people. I think that soldier before, he died over to the right or something, but he was clearly looking for like he was like really unsuccessful, of course, but he was really looking for, I think, some sort of potential pick.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
This was kind of spooky. I think your medic kind of ran in here by himself, and that leaves him super vulnerable to a ton of things, such as bombers, such as people shooting from battlements if they were there, and of course people hiding in the roller. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear the heavy like rev up.
Yeah, I heard him like rev up his.
Tommy Slav.
Yeah, rev up his Tommy Slav. I called it out, but then don't think we responded to that correctly. I just called it out.
I didn't even notice your demo died. Fuck.
Our demo was like a little bit. Like, I think he was going
far forward. Yeah, I was killing our pocket scout running to second, and I think our demo was already on second, like by himself.
Can we watch it again?
Yeah. And I think I tried to save him, but it was too late.
This is your demo, I think.
We have lost the control point.
So this is you guys have a massive player ad here, and you've got a huge position ad. Oh no, not player ad, but like there's respawners aren't relevant yet, and you have a huge player Uber ad, and you got a massive positional ad. I think this was cringed by you, Ren. Is that how you died? You kind of just like jumped in.
Alert.
Yeah, I demo deception, just jumped in, and he gets forwarded. And I was like coming along with our pocket scout, so I wasn't there with him yet to give him like kills.
Yeah, I think this is a bit on your demo man, if I'm honest. Like I don't necessarily think it's like too awful trying to take position as a demo man, but it's kind of like not a very good spot to land when you're that far away from your team. I'd probably just try and be a lot more cautious when you have like this sort of massive collective advantage that I just discussed, yeah? And also, it's just way too far away from your combo, Mr. Demo Man, because your scout and your medic and your soldier weren't really in position to help you. So if I were you, I'd probably be like trapping up this roller instead as you push grass, while your team protects you. I think that was just a little bit of a throw. And it results in a force, the enemy's getting picks. Probably a good chance that they fight you guys because they have a player advantage, yeah?
Yeah, I think the call was just to cap and run because we knew they were going to come in again.
Okay. But yeah, you can kind of see how these little mistakes snowball. Like, you know, I say little, but losing a dimmer man like that is a pretty critical thing. So this is another situation. They've got Uberad, you guys. Okay, they drop. When the enemy team drops a medic like that, what do you guys call? Do you guys do a call other than like the fact that he dropped? Is there a plan?
I just
medic,
expect to like players to like mong for me, so I think I tell scouts to, I don't know, play close still.
Our medic just screams for like his scouts to come near him so he doesn't get fucked by any like random shit.
Exactly. Like when enemy medic dies, like you can imagine what the enemy team is screaming. They want to go ape mode on your medic, yeah. So
Yeah.
It's really important that you kind of consolidate around that, and everyone's immediately aware that the medic goes down. The enemy team's just gonna like go full retard mode. So that's really good. You want to like, the thing about medics is that they're not particularly strong in the short term, but their strength like in fights becomes more and more you know, available and potent like the longer they survive, you know what I mean? So it's really important that as soon as you get a medic advantage, you try and draw out fights as long as you can without losing players, because that will result in a better chance of winning. But that's really good that you guys are calling that to play around the medic like that. Let's see if you actually do it. I would say, Tissue, you're probably not doing it a bit too much here. Like, when you get the enemy medic, you're under no rush to do this sort of thing. I think you should definitely be trying to like play around your mate here as much as you can, and just take it slowly. There's no rush, you know.
Okay.
Like I like to like basically turn both scouts and most of the team into just complete pocket mode the moment the enemy medic dies, and just try and stay alive. Like this is also another issue. Like you're down, your combo scout's down, but you, Ren, you're kind of over here. You should be essentially the pocket scout in this situation, I think. Because you're playing the same class, right? Which means you can play the same role if need be. You simply, in this game, with how powerful scouts are and how important they are, you just can't have your medics going around without scouts. They're too important for defending the medic, and it's really important that your medic is running fast to stay competitive with like the enemy medic. So always at least one scout with the medic.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
You guys have a huge player here,
Time has been added.
and you got a massive Uber ad. Let's see how you push. Looks like a roller push, yep. Big walk-in Uber. Do you guys think it's worth using your Uber to kill the pyro who's trying to waste your time here?
Probably
No.
not.
I think I used because our scout was low.
Yeah, I don't have issue with you guys using, but is this a good Uber target?
No. We should probably just like run into the combo and like.
You're right. What you
And
should...
he-
Yep, go.
And like the pyro can't like deny a doorway anymore. Like there's no use like focusing him at this point.
That's true.
Like, yeah.
Like he's not a useful class in this situation hypothetically, but he's actually being useful, funnily enough, because he's wasting your entire Uber. You're already down to half, and he's like not dead, and he has distracted your entire team essentially to the side that the enemy team is not even holding. The thing about Uberad, guys, is like you don't want to be using or like wasting it on like the less important classes. Like the purpose, you got to think about it. Like the purpose of a sentry gun, a pyro, a heavy, they all revolve around trying to occupy your Uber for as long as possible. So by the end of it, their teammates have a chance of like a better chance of staying alive and being ready to fight to defend the point. Long story short, you want to be killing way more relevant players. If I were you guys here and I had this crazy walk-in Uber, which is already, you know, a massive advantage, I would just be running across the point with the scout, the demo would be calling that he's jumping, and you literally just fly into the face of the key players like the medic and the demo man, land on top of them, trap off the roller, that sort of thing, and just fucking kill them. And you can imagine if you did that you could have done this by now, like 2 seconds ago. And then, like, the moment you get these 2 picks, your team could have just consolidated on the high ground over here with a player ad and a medic and a demo ad. And the enemy sentry would have been, like, over here, the pyro would have been over here, and you guys would have had this huge ad, this in terms of players, in terms of medics, in terms of position and stuff, and you could have just kind of what do you call it? Just won by attrition, you know, just like kept that advantage going. But I wouldn't be surprised if this turns out shit. Although you guys have a big player, but okay, I think you're gonna win anyway. But you can kind of see that that you kind of wasted your Uber, I think.
Yeah.
Regardless that you guys won that fight, like I think that was just off the initial player, but you guys definitely want to be practicing using your Ubers a bit more effectively, I think, to kill like the most important players.
Alert. The control point
Okay,
is
looks like a soldier sack going on. So they double sack you guys onto your medic. That's why it's really important as scouts that both of you have a good idea of where the enemy soldiers are. You're relying on people calling where they are so you can focus fire them. I'm not saying that like it necessarily was completely your fault, yeah, but like the purpose of scouts on mids communicating together is when soldiers jump is to kind of try and focus fire them so you can kill them. And I think you tried to do that, but it looked like you got a little bit lost about where the soldiers were. But it's when you think the enemy's gonna do these double sacks, it's really important that you guys are aware of it so you can actually deny them more effectively. You can see how the enemy team is consolidating really well here. Once they get your medic, they're just like playing together on their grass with their scouts, and they're kind of taking their time. This is how you win medic advantages. Is kind of you just like literally just what's the word? I don't know. You just stay alive essentially until you win. Like you don't want to throw a massive ad like a medic ad or a player ad. They could have done it a bit better because Ren almost like fucked that medic, but you guys get the idea. I hope. They should be pushing off this, don't you reckon? Like, there's no point having your medic lurk around that long. They've got a huge player ad and they should be using it to go take second already. Don't want to waste time and resources by having like players capping who shouldn't be. But we'll go back to you guys. We can talk about last now because you guys said you had issues with that. How do you guys usually like hold last with Uber Desad?
I like to hold on point because I think I can go left or right depending on where they go. Like just go
What class
the
are you,
opposite
sorry?
way, the medic.
Right.
But I don't know is there a better place to hold.
Well, depends on how your team's holding. Do you guys always run a gun?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we try.
We have at least a gun, and then like depending on how big the disad is, it's like heavy as well. I think.
Yeah, well that's pretty
And
much
then we
what I
just
try and do.
Yep.
If it's Uber Desad and you got time, there's practically never a case where you don't want to have a gun. Like, you should just pretty much always be building a gun, I think. Like, if your flank scout should be doing it, it's just such a good advantage. It's such a good thing to have because it just greatly increases the likelihood of you guys winning the post fight. So pretty much always have a gun. Don't be lazy and go sniper or something if you've got enough time to build one. The key thing about defending last, I think, is other than the gun and maybe like the heavy that you might have, is it's all about the soldiers. Like your soldiers, they're the most important class, I think, because their job is to not only know where the enemy is going to be coming with their Uber, but like to actually force them so they don't get a free entry. So in order for them to do it, it's really important that they are healthy. Yeah. Like for soldiers to do what they need to do on last, which is to force the enemy team, or at least try and force them, they need to be super healthy. So Jolson, so rather your medic, sorry, your priority by far at the start should not be the grind, I don't think, unless you think you can get Uber in time, but it should be to buff the shit out of your soldiers so they can actually hold their doorways. Like the difference between a 300 HP soldier holding a doorway and a 200 is just night and day. Also, this is an issue because they just got a free entry because no one was actually down there watching this doorway. Did you have were there traps down there? I'm not sure, but I think at a minimum, like I don't know where the roamer is, or the left side soldier, but someone should be down here or over here so they can actually see this enemy team coming in, because this is essentially a free Uber by them, right?
If I'm playing Roma, is it worth to like actually die for the force, or should I actually
No.
like try and force and then just get out and play post?
Yeah, you pretty much always want to be trying to force them and then survive. Like we called it scattering on when I was playing on my team. Like the soldiers, their goal is to try and force them and then like literally jump away from the combo as much as they can to either hold other doors or just to survive. Because even if you force the enemy team, you probably notice that like they can often still win simply because they're going to have a player ad and they're going to have that advantage post Uber. It's almost never worth, I think, trading your life to force the enemy unless it's you managed it super early or stuff or something. You know what I mean? Because it's essentially feeding if they're still going to get a good Uber into your team. That's why it's important for these players. Something you guys could learn, appreciate from these dudes is, I think the demo should have been in the Uber. I'm not sure if he was or not, but did you notice how they didn't waste a lot of time on the gun here? They immediately tried to go for key picks.
Yeah.
Like that's critical. I don't think they weren't super successful. They got certainly they got classes, but at the minimum they tried to take a lot of position with a huge amount of aggression, and they tried to go for key like critical picks. But they still got a good ad by getting these ones. But the key thing is they did not fuck around with like a sentry or like a pyro that was wasting their time, or a heavy. They went for the jugular. Unfortunately, the post position seemed pretty bad, but let's see how this goes.
Alert! The final control point is being contested.
A demo, I think you probably could have tried to take that a bit slower, maybe. Like, all you have to do when you're defending last against a team that doesn't have a medic is just keep the point trap while staying alive, yeah? Guys?
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm being boring.
No, it's good.
You don't want to, like, again, when you have a medic advantage, you don't want to be losing players ideally. All you want to do is like worry about staying alive and defending the objective. Yeah, it looks like you were screaming that Jolson, which was good. So probably another last hold.
I think this is the part where we get a little
trouble.
bit stuck on just last. Yeah, we were here like on last for quite a while, from what I remember.
Well, we can talk about it. Are you guys playing this as an Uber ad? Do you remember?
I think we try and push, but we lose too many players. From memory.
Well, it looks like you're holding. It's really good room that you're building a gun, I think. Like, even though it's even Ubers and even players, I think it's really good having a sentry. The one thing, I don't know if you do it or not, but the one thing you probably want to be doing is once you have level up the gun, you want to turn it from a point defending sentry to like a sack defending sentry, so you move it forward. Like on the grass here, yeah?
Yeah, he does that later on.
Oh,
I
that's
think
good.
when we consolidate, like what our position and stuff.
So when you're versing an enemy sniper who's trying to go into last here, you definitely want the sentry, I think, so you can like move it up and it can defend doorways against sacks, and that sort of defense will allow you to run like a counter class if you want. Like you could be running a spy or a sniper once you have that sentry in position. Do you guys counter snipe defensively much?
We did it, I think, one time in this map, but we don't run it that often, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're not confident or comfortable on it?
I think we do it more on other maps. I don't think. I mean, yeah, don't think we're too comfortable on it yet. Sometimes we do like spy and snipers like about equally as often when we see like another pick cluster, like in its
Yeah.
evens and stuff.
You know, I'm not a massive sniper advocate, but like it's pretty difficult, I think, a lot of the time to, get successful picks into the offending sniper or the offending team a lot of the time, especially if they're running a sniper, because they're just trying to stay alive until they get a pick. Yeah, that's all they're trying to do. So
Yeah.
I find that like running a defensive sniper here is a really good idea, or a spy. Or if you don't want to run a pick class like that, you want to naturally not get picked off by their class and maybe take lobby off them, or at least spam the sniper so he can't do free shit. But let's see what you guys... Fucking damn it. Let's see what you guys do. Key thing is... The key thing versus sniper is that you want to always be really healthy, yeah? Because all he needs is a body shot to kill you. You don't want to give him that.
Yeah.
And what they're probably going to try and do now, is since they have a player pick, is be more aggressive and go for something. Especially with a gun that's that passive. So again, to Renmate, like when your team's trying to do a hold, yeah, with Uber, against enemy sacks, there's no point having the gun on the point. Like, your goal is not to be stopping enemies capping, yeah? Like, the sentry's goal should now be to defend your team from sackers and people coming in. You want to turn it from a very defensive gun that wastes time to like an offending gun that kind of denies players aggressively. That's with an Uber, when you have Uber, yeah.
Yep. You probably fast forward at this point because like same shit for like a minute or so.
Looks like you're moving it up. I just want to check out your sentry. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, you can, if you want. I'm trying to remember. I think it's here actually, somewhere around here, but it can see into the roller a bit or something, which can be useful if you want, or it can be like more aggressive top right. But anyway, so if you're not running a sniper, you're essentially waiting then for like the enemy to do a sack, yeah? And then you want to be doing like a counter sack. So if you're not going to be running a sniper or a spy. So okay, they're trading. This is really important. Like when enemy this is what they did before, yeah? Like what do you think they're trying to do with the trade?
Try
Just
and
call-
multi.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to try and force you really hard, and then like hopefully multi really hard, and then maybe do something on the post. So let's see how that goes for them. Nice. So this is huge. They achieve nothing, and the soldier feeds. Okay, this is crazy. So you guys should now be trying to like muscle out a lobby as much as you can. Here's the thing. When you have a massive Uber ad like this and they're this close, it's not like necessarily about trying to retain Uber as long as you can. Feel free to fucking just pop into them and crush their skulls in. Like if they're that close, like take it on your scout and your demo and just jump into these cunts and just fuck them up, yeah? If they're this aggressive, like you shouldn't have to think that, oh, we should try and be retaining Uber here, just go fuck them up. Alternatively, if they were really far away, then you might want to be trying to like what we call a wet push or something, just try and get in for free with Uber and then take second. But if you have the sort of player ad and Uber ad and they're this close and they're disrespecting you this fucking much, just literally either of you two should be calling to pop into them and just rape the shit out of them. You don't have to tolerate this happening. I think if this were done like 1 or 2 seconds sooner, you as a demo man could have jumped from here with your scout just like over this building and just like crushed their combo or any other key classes. Like it's still working out for you guys, right? You're still getting picks and stuff, but I think you probably could have got even more if you wanted to, because they were just giving it for free. We should look at last. This is really good by you two. Jolson in particular on the high ground's really good. I don't know, I didn't see where Ren was like holding exactly, but he looked pretty good too.
I think Ren just switched off of NG, so he was just walking in and just shot whatever he saw.
Yeah, that's a key thing I should mention. If you're gonna push out with an Uber ad, you gotta make the call between keeping your NG up or not, because naturally if you have a gun up, that's very good at defending last and stuff, and defending the point. But the downside of it of course is that you're not pushing off of any class. So that's a trade up you guys will have to like make. Do you want to like keep an NG up or not? Or do you just want to like leave 1 or 2 classes back there instead of a sentry? It looks like this left scout, like he kind of molests you guys on the flank a little bit. He kind of needs to probably be like communicated against a bit more. Like you guys need to call what you're doing and how to deal with him. keep an eye out on the flank so he doesn't do that sort of shit. This is, I'd recommend just fucking off in pretty much all these cases. As soon as the enemy gets grass area over here, it's extremely difficult with a player disadvantage to hold battlements. Like, definitely just fuck off, I think, which seems to be what you're doing. And they have Uber ad. Holy shit. Okay. If I were the enemy team here, and you guys are all in lobby, I would have just fucking gone straight underneath and Ubered into you before you got charged, if possible. So you get, yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Looks like you're gonna get charged. Even here, Ren, man, honestly, you can just start building a gun, I think. He's good defensively against Sax, yeah? Not as good as a gun, but the problem is you can't really just, you have to be really passive on a heavy. He can't like immediately start switching off and doing stuff or even moving about. Like yeah. You pretty much always want a sentry over heavy when you have Uber, I think. Okay, so you guys got a massive player pick here. Oh well, it's not massive, but it's a scout. Do you guys call what you're gonna do?
Usually the call is just to ask a soldier if any one of our soldiers is ready to sack, and then we just go single soldier sack.
Okay. Fair enough. You know, you want to do it like as soon as possible, right? Because the longer it takes, the longer the enemy's probably going to be ready for it to defend against it. And but more importantly, if your counter sack is dying really late, that essentially means that this player is going to be up in time, and you're going to be a player down. Which, you know, that's an advantage for the enemy team to do stuff into last, such as sacking or trades. Does that make sense? So essentially, if you're going to counter sack, you want to do it pretty fucking early, or you do not want to do it at all. Especially on this map, because the respawn advantage that the people who hold this point have is just tremendous. It's just like a couple of seconds compared to the people who are defending last.
Yeah, usually I as the roamer when I'm playing on this map, like I'm the one that counter sacks, but if I think I go like 1 or 2 seconds late, I'm just not going to bother for it.
Yeah, that's good. It doesn't really matter what soldier does it, right? It's just the one that's typically very healthy, and the one that like gonna have like an easier time getting in. So once you get like a key pick like that, well, yeah, you get a sniper pick. You want to try and like your team wants to be really making space for you to shoot, dude. Without feeding. So let's see. It looks like that's trying to happen here, yeah? Or you're doing a counter sack. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, you guys are getting more picks. Ren, see, you see the issue of having a heavy here when you're getting like picks and stuff? He just doesn't do anything. He's also like, even if you want to switch off, he's really fucking slow, right? So like, even if you were to go switch off, it just takes a long time, so you're essentially a player down in the situation, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's why a sentry is more useful, because it can hold really aggressively if you want, and as an engineer you can be further back ready to switch off ASAP. So that's why I don't like just a heavy when it's even Ubers. It's good in Uber disads. Okay, trade. There should be a scout with you next time. That's something you can do, by the way. Like, if the enemy trades in like that, and you have a scout here, and your demo man is kind of out of position, sometimes you don't even actually have to pop on your demo man. You can just drop him if the enemy Uber's really shit. Like, something you can do that's really effective is if the enemy trades into you and the Uber's really dog shit, just give them your demo man.
Yeah.
And you can just like retain Uber and still hold, because they have to retreat out. And then you can, like, if you hold really aggressively, you can just wait for your demo man to come up, and then you can go out with an Uber advantage, especially if you have a sentry on the floor here defending against that Uber. So this is really cool. You guys got a huge player ad. These guys are just respecting the fuck out of you, so you should be trying to get out for free. If the demo man's like shooting the store here and he's here, don't try and go into him, probably. Like, go out battlements or go through cheese. Or maybe even under. The key point being, like, you don't want to let the demo man be as effective as he wants, right? By just like running into his spam. You got shit on.
Dude, did we like take too long to like break out?
Yes, yes. You guys had a big player ad, but the problem with this map again is the people who have this point, well, the offending team that has this point, they've got a really crazy respawn rate. So like, if they hold on for a few seconds, these cunts are going to be here really soon. So that's why it's important that like if you're going to play off a player ad and try and push off it, it has to be done soon. And the way to do it is to try, when you guys are doing pushes in general, you want to be taking the path of least resistance. Yeah, you don't want to be fucking going just like trying to mulch through the demo man there. So I would have been trying to, if the demo man were like holding you know, fucking where is he, man, like that doorway where I'm looking at now, I would be trying to like go elsewhere, like go through cheese, go through battlements, that sort of thing. Like you can chuck stickies, fucking you can like knock doorways in here with rockets and stickies, yeah, and then your scout can run through or your soldier can jump through. The point being, you just don't want to like be fucking around with that sort of player ad, yeah, which is what happened. That's how you push out a last, is you take a lot of position and you do it quickly and you don't like feed and you don't let the enemies just like get their respawners in time. Two picks, well, one pick really. That's a good round one on. Unfortunately, guys, like this is the nature of this map. Is when it's even players, unless you like have a sniper or a spy or something, there's not a whole lot that you can do proactively. You're kind of waiting on the enemy to make their move, which is the unfortunate thing, right? Like, it's almost impossible to, against a team that's even like slightly conscious, is to fucking go out and actually do things against them, unless they've sacked into you or something, or traded. Like, you're essentially waiting on them unless you're running like a spy or a sniper. Pretty sad, but it's true. Okay. This is really cringe by them. They just got like a crazy fucking... Oh wait, did they pop? How early ago did they pop? Am I retarded?
Yeah, I
popped
forced
ages
them.
ago. Oh, well,
Yeah.
no, that's my bad. Really, that's good.
Should I have been like in lobby healing our demo? Who was like pretty deep in by himself.
I'm not
Cause-
sure. If it's safe, man, you can be healing, I think.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you're gonna have to use your own intuition. Like, essentially, like, you don't want to be dying, yeah? That's the most important thing, or getting popped. I didn't really see what happened, but like, if you think it's like safe for you to be there and not get forced or killed, then you can do it. Live shit. Still works out for him though, 'cause... Okay. This is really successful by the enemy team. You can see what they were trying to do, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
they
like-
had like pick advantage, and then they just took positioning so their soldiers could get in.
Exactly.
And force easily.
Yep. And the key thing is they did not like stick around with their combo. They used their player ad to get in, disable the sentry or whatever. It really distracted the fuck out of you guys, and then they got the force with the, you know, the soldier and the spy combination, and then they retreated. And unless you guys are going to be playing off this player ad that you just got, then you're not going to be able to push out. So like right here, this was like a 5-second player ad, which means the enemies aren't going to be here for about at least like 12 seconds or so, right? So this is your moment if you were to go as a team to push out. So let's find them. Where are they? So the demo man is super fucking aggressive here. So it's a bit of an issue. Like, he's making a lot of space for his team if he's not being contested, but you definitely want to be like blasting him with your demo man here, and maybe like soldiers or something, or scouts if you can. And once you've pushed him away, then you want to be taking like as much position as you can, like through the battlements or through cheese or something. If you want to be playing off this player, like, this is the key thing about snakewater. You gotta try and get in before these cunts are relevant again. Like, this guy needs to fucking die, or if he's gonna disrespect that hard. And probably at the same time, like, it's not just on your combo to force the demo here. Like, your soldiers probably on the flank. That if the enemy team had 2 players down there, that probably meant that there was a lot of space for them to go in and apply pressure to like alleviate pressure off your combo. Like, it's a big team effort sort of thing to play with a player advantage here and bust in. Also, I'm not Australian. I'm from New Zealand. And your team... Okay, so... Let's look at this. They're doing it a bit sloppily, but do you guys see how, like, once you guys lost your medic here, these guys just took this high ground sort of area? That's just a really good thing to do. They're playing their medic advantage and they're playing on the high ground in a very safe position. They kind of did it a bit rough, I think. Almost got caught out by that soldier Jolson. But I think we should see them like slow this down a lot here until they win. The demo feeds actually, so maybe not. But do you see how they almost like had a perfect push there? And they did that just by like playing like they almost did it successfully by playing their player advantage and their medic advantage and their Uber advantage, but they threw it, so that's alright. Because the demo man thought it'd be a good idea to go fucking sit by this cone. Okay, this is another situation we have ad, but this demo man is just like winning their team the game by holding super aggressively. And the way to deal with it is like, yeah, as a team you need to like contest them together. You can imagine like if the blue team is missing like substantial amounts of players, like maybe 1 or 2, especially 2 or more, and he's here, he needs to be fucking crushed, guys. Like you guys you have to work together in order to shit on him. Like have a soldier come underneath and jump him, have the demo man from inside lobby be shooting him with a scout, or like have a soldier come bats and then blast him this way. Like you can't tolerate him. I can't say racist words on stream, but you can't tolerate him just sitting there and getting away with this shit. Because people will get away with shit if you let them in this game. Don't let them disrespect you. It's really fucking good that like even with player ad here, Uber ad here on last, you're building gun. Like if you do that a lot, that's like an excellent thing. I think a lot of flank scouts are really fucking greedy and lazy and they don't do this shit. The exception would be, I think, is if you guys think that you had massive player ad and you wanted to push out with Uber, you can maybe not run an engineer, but if you think it's like even Ubers or something, then running an engineer, or if you think it's even Ubers or you think the enemy has an Uber ad, then it's pretty much always better, always good to be running a gun. Counter sack coming in by our dude here. It's probably too late, yeah. Oh, you're in, okay. What the fuck's happening, man? I'm lost. Okay, you're dead. Do you guys remember what you commed there?
I think our soldier said he made space for the rest of our team to go in, and we were trying to play maybe like site ad, I think.
It looked like you guys had a player ad, I think, and it looked like, is this Levy? What do I call this dude?
Author.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, author.
Author.
Yeah.
Okay, it looked like he was making space for your soldier who sacked in. Was that right?
Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fine. Like, it's perfectly fine to use a player ad to, like, make space for your sacker to go in. But the issue I probably take with it is that it seemed really late, like, more than 10 seconds after they sacked in. Which means now you guys essentially just have a fucking player ad. Which means the enemy's going to have an easier time, if they wanted to, coming into lobby and then making an entrance for them to do a sack or a trade. So let's see if they do something aggressive here. Yeah, it looks like they're doing something aggressive here. Here, dude, you could have... There's no reason for you. You're never going to, like, achieve anything here, I don't think, as a demo man, right? Like, because they're flash. They're just going to run away with Uber. The best thing you could possibly have done is literally just like fuck off and juggle his Uber and try not to get forced, I think. Unless you like really think you were going to die there. But if I were you and I saw the enemy scout were running in there and he popped, you should try and just run away and just jump away or something. Like, because if they're not getting like a trade here, they're not getting a force, they're essentially wasting their entire Uber, so you don't want to allow them to fucking just pop you for free essentially if you can help it. Because you can see, like, even though you popped, you're not achieving anything with them here. So, as a medic, at a minimum, I probably would have just, like, even not popped, and I might have even dropped the demo man. Because they're not going to be able to do anything, because you can't still have a gun.
Yeah, in that situation, should our like pocket scout and demo like swap positions? Because our pocket scout was like really far back while our demo
Yes.
was like close to the Uber.
I don't know where you're up to, Tissue Dude, but you should have been with the combo and like escorting your medic probably away so he doesn't get popped maybe by the scout, and your demo man should have just been like hiding behind you and running away.
Alright.
Because like these guys are getting away with murder here, just having this awful walk-in Uber, and they're forcing you, and you don't want to like tolerate it. Either just like not pop and get out of the way and retain the Uber, or fucking just drop your demo man. I think if he is gonna die. How do I say his name? Is it Pussy or some shit?
Poisey.
Poisey. He's making a lot of space in terms of controlling this lobby all the time. Like his teammates are making like pretty bad sack attempts or trade attempts, but he is like pretty much winning his team, like holding the second for his team because he's just really aggressive in the lobby. So that needs to be dealt with, you guys. You guys need to like start coordinating the game at a rate when you have that sort of big player ad or whatever. Not necessarily that situation, but just in general, right? Okay, okay, triple player ad. What do you guys do with it? Or double, 2-player ad?
Let's see.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
I don't know why I popped there, to be honest.
I think the major mistake you made was probably falling to the low ground. Like, you don't want to be like going onto the low ground here unless you're going into the enemy to trade with them to try and maximize your player ads before these players are up. Like in my opinion, you either want to be trading into them to force them so you can like end the post before these players are relevant, yeah, so you can actually take second for once. Or if you're not going to do that, you just want to be on battlements just so you don't get forced by the player. But you took this intermediate thing where you kind of are on the floor here, so you're not really contesting the enemy to get forced them, but you're also like really vulnerable to a sack. Do you know what I mean? So like it's the worst of both worlds sort of thing. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to result in oh, they did pop. That's it. Okay, but it's still going to be okay for them because they're going to come and use this Uber to defend second. But you can imagine if all these cunts didn't feed and they managed to retain Uber once you guys got that awful pop, they're probably just going to be able to take that Uber into last and win. So it's a bit of like a lot of counter throwing in this game. But yeah. You guys have any questions? Very quiet.
I don't really
Everything
have.
seems alright so far, yeah.
Yeah, everything you say makes sense. Lev spy.
So that's just Lev using a knife aimbot. Can't do much about that. But other than like, it's really important versus the sort of sneaky cunt. He loves running this shit, and if you're not like being hyper vigilant about it, he's gonna fucking run away with it forever. So it's really important that like, if there could be a spy, or even if you think there couldn't be a spy, that you're fucking looking for spies. You constantly have to be turning around and checking cunts and stuff. Because this class is really fucking good, even in Prem, against players who just are not anticipating it. Right? Because once you get behind, it's really fucking easy to kill cunts if they're not aware you're there.
Alert. The final control point is being contested.
Look at this. I won't say that word, but he's fucking crazy, man. He's just getting away with this nonsense.
Too many stabs, man.
If he gets another frag, I'll shit my pants. He's getting buffed. and now he's shanking you. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh fuck, we're dog shits.
How much time we got? We got this one last fight, I think. I'm taking a lot of time to go over this actually. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Yeah.
If you guys still have time, we could like go on a server and I could show you some holes and fishes and shit. But let's watch this.
I think we have a 9, so I don't think there'll be too much time for it.
That's alright.
The control point is being contested.
Man, your demo man's really in. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're gonna go that far forward with a demo man, it's really important that you're probably being supported. Like you probably need your medic and your scout really close. I think they are now, but like just be careful about not getting picked off here. But I really like it when demo men go across the point because it just means they can blast cunts to smithereens a lot of the time.
Time has been added.
As you're coming through these doorways with this sort of player ad and stuff, I know all the heavies are dead on the blue team, but like be really sure to check corners and shit against like scouts that are being really sneaky and all that, or any sort of class. But it's really important that you don't want to like lose an advantage here. So be super vigilant about retaining advantages when yeah, that's all I have to say. Check corners, check for skybox jumpers, that sort of thing.
Time has been added.
Oh, you're doing a trade now. Let's have a look. That was... Oh man, I can't believe they fucking cringed that. So, I thought they were gonna like waste your entire Uber by running in to spawn, but they... For some reason, they decided to pop in the spawn against a scout.
Yeah.
So you can see how that's fucking cringe. They should have just let they should have just let Liv Vesta here while they just stayed in spawn, and maybe like the medic could be bowing Liv or something, but they just popped for essentially no reason. And now, did you get juggled? No. Yeah, I don't know. That was just cringe by the blue team. They almost like had a free. Yeah, they almost had a free Uber to retain. Do you kind of see how that was the inverse of what we were talking about before?
Yeah.
Don't tolerate dog shit enemy Ubers. Like punish them for it.
I think this is just like garbage time now. It was, like,
Yes.
No, I remember this because I asked if we were going to refight and I was ready to bomb through and make space, and then I died, and then we were like, it's either I went like 2 or 3 seconds early, or our team was 2 or 3 seconds too slow. One
Right.
of the two.
Yeah. Did you guys have fun pushing against the brass beast?
Oh no.
I'd recommend doing that most of the time, by the way, when you have like when you're on last with a player an Uber Desad especially, is just run gun and brass beast. Like brass beast on the truck, gun on the left is like one of the best holds in the game. Not a bad push, but no fucking Uber, guys. That's not too bad. But you know, probably not gonna happen because that's what it's like having Uber Desad. I think that's a good time to cut it. Do you guys want to say anything or questions?
I think we learned a lot from that, just from that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for reviewing us.
That's alright. Nothing you want to talk about though?
Unless anyone else.
I think you covered all that we wanted to know because we just kept having trouble pushing out of last and like other stuff like that, and you cleared it up pretty well.
Alright, well that's good then.
See,
Good luck with
cheers
your
for the
scrum,
help, Rocky.
boys.
Yeah,
you're
thanks,
right. No,
Chief.
you're right.
Alright, thanks a lot.